Hello, welcome back to the Trekway podcast. That's Gray. I'm Trev. This is the Trekway. We come back for a special. Gray's really chipper and excited today. I don't know why. Maybe put a line on the lottery or something. I don't know. Maybe his dog spoke to him. I don't have a clue, but he's a happy
I'm
camper.
always that way. Well, it could be the 9 cups of coffee I had, but
That sounds about right.
I TTW'd out. There's a logo there, logo here, logo here.
No TTW from me. I am TTW, so that's enough.
That's right. You should get like the logo just on your forehead like this.
There's only one hologram that can have a letter in the middle of his head, and it will not be me.
A dwarf.
Yes, for those Star Trek fans, you should know of that series. We're going to talk about the last ever season of Discovery, and I'm glad Gray is in a good mood because it isn't his favourite of all the Star Trek series. So I'm hoping any negativity is balanced out with some positivity of the jungle juice that he has been on today.
I will endeavor to get the positivity going. Well, like I was telling Trev off the air, I don't dislike it, but I'm not a fan either. So it kind of puts me right there in the middle. And I would say the same thing about Enterprise. Enterprise, I thought overall was
You only saw one season of that out of 4. You can't
because
really
I couldn't take it. But I did keep up and watch clips and things like that. And like you and I discussed, everybody says, "Oh, 4th season was the best," which is, of course, when the series went off the air. Oh, we decided to make it better just before we go off the air. That makes lots of sense.
I don't think they knew, to be fair, until closer to the time. This happens a lot with Star Trek series, and also happens with Discovery. They didn't know they were being cancelled until they pretty much, if not finished, filming the season. So the problem with that was they had to go back they were given permission to do a small number of reshoots so they could bookend it, and pun intended, because bookended. But yeah, he does pop up in this as well. So we will be talking about the trailer that came out it was 6 days ago, I think, and
the official trailer, instead of the teaser.
Yeah, the teaser is just that. It literally gives you a little tickle and leaves you wanting more. But this is a little bit more in depth, and there are people that literally broke it down, that paused it, freeze frame after frame. I wasn't going to do that. That's just ridiculous, in my opinion. Sorry, but I did try and pick out as many nuggets of information as I could from it. So we just wanted to talk about that trailer, what's going on in it, what we think will happen in season 5, what we kind of hope to have in season 5, and maybe just give a kind of little opinion on what we think of it so far. Mixed bag Discovery, safe to say. And I think, to be fair, Gray, I think maybe I was maybe a small apology to you when I said to you, you don't like Discovery, and I'm pretty sure you've said that you don't like Discovery. It's Picard minus season 3 that you couldn't stand. You definitely didn't like that. So I'll take that back slightly.
No. I mean, the absolute worst Trek I've ever seen in my life was season 1 and 2 of Picard. There's no doubt about it. I'll sit there and I'll watch every season of Discovery twice over before I'll subject myself to season 1 and 2 of Picard. That'll just tell you right there.
They all fixed
I'd even watched
mistakes.
Enterprise twice as well. I mean, that was just like, nothing could be that bad. Nothing could be that bad.
They all fixed their mistakes in the end. Sometimes it took them longer than other shows, but yeah, right. This one, Discovery does fix itself at the end of season 2, but that's 2 seasons. Or, well, actually, you could say the repair process started in season 2 after they realised they balls that up. But you have to lay the foundations to try and fix it. You can't just do that. So you admit you've done wrong and you try and fix it. Credit where credit's due. So no, it literally, I think I speak for both of us, Gray and I, that season 3 onwards just got better. It was more enjoyable in the 30th century, sorry. Or was it not? Was that the 31st? Anyway, it's a bloody long time in the future.
Something like that.
It's a long time in the future. So yeah, let's break down the trailer really quickly. I just put down some bullet points.
Before we do that, though, I did want to say that I felt that at least Star Trek Discovery was ambitious. Now they might not have been able to pull things off all the time. Sometimes yes, sometimes more. No, probably more often no than yes. But they were very ambitious because they wanted to try new things and and stretch the envelope. I just think they probably stretched it a little too much in some ways. That's all, and that kind of hurt them. But you can't knock them for being ambitious. I mean,
we always said Discovery should have been set in the 30th century
off
the bat, and it would have been fantastic because
I think it would have been markedly better for sure. Yeah.
Because canon is a thing. People don't piss all over canon, please. It was only about a minute and a half long. This trailer. I don't know if we get any more trailers. Hopefully we do, but if we do, we'll try and cover them. This one starts majestically, almost, dare I say, Gray. You see the Discovery cruising into what looks like bloody Asgard. I swear to God, it looked like Asgard. It looked like some kind of, somebody said a starbase, but it looks like it's on rock. So no, that's not a starbase. It looked maybe like some kind of cloud city or something. Do you remember seeing that at the very, very start as the Discovery's coming down? That it didn't look like Star Trek. That looked like
it reminded me of
Star Wars.
It reminded me a little bit of Star Trek: The Motion Picture when V'Ger was at the center, and you had all that stuff to walk through to get to him.
Oh,
it kind of looked like that a little bit. Remember, it was just like he was in the center, and then there was this big cloud-looking other junk around. They had to walk. I always wondered in the movie when that movie came out. I'm going like, it's way over there. And they're starting to walk to get there. And then all of a sudden they're there. I'm going like, man, how long did that walk take? It must have took like a day and they just skipped, right over it.
Underrated movie. So whatever this place is, I'm fascinated to find out because I'm assuming it's not Starfleet based anyway. We do see another, and of course, jump in, Gray, you get any comments on my points here? Mm-hmm. We see Saru's relationship with the Navarre president, I think it is now, heating up a little bit. I'm just wondering, Gray, if those two have followed Federation protocol and reported to their doctor before intimating in sexy time. That's procedure, by the way. That's procedure, guys. That didn't happen with B'Elanna and Tom. And they get into trouble for that, if you remember. It worked out, thankfully, that they could do that, but who's to say these two species can... And the president's getting on a little bit, but she is bulking, so... is it possible? We don't know.
I think it's an obvious... Well, at least to me, anyway, seems to be an obvious setup for the fact that when the season finally ends, they're going to kind of like go off into the sunset, and he's leaving Starfleet and go off with her wherever that will lead him.
Yeah,
which is cool. That would make sense.
Just a shame that his ganglia thing dropped out the back there, because that could have been useful. So I'll leave it at that.
Maybe,
move on,
Never know.
We do see Gray's put this comment later on as well, right? He's not a massive fan of him, but we see a lot more of Book in this one, right? I like the character David Ajala, right? Yeah, I've seen him in a few things in the UK. He's pretty good, and I think Gray's maybe aiming more at the character, not the actor.
No, not the actor. The actor's good.
Yeah, I've seen him in a few things, pretty decent. Why do you not like him too much, Gray? What's going on?
I don't know. I just think I liked him more like us at the beginning, and then I think when he got more serious with the Burnham, it started to get annoying, or not. I mean, maybe not. I don't know if annoying is the right word, or maybe just boring or annoying. I'm not sure. Something like that. It just didn't seem like his character when he first introduced it. I thought was much better. And then I just think he kind of, I don't know, mellowed out. I don't know what to call it. It seemed like they didn't know what to do with him. After that, the whole romantic thing started. That's my feeling. But I mean, again, it's not the actor, because the actor's great. So, and this is part of the problem, if you want to call it that I have with the show, because Sonequa Martin Green is fairly great too, and it isn't her fault that she got shoved into a controversial character that was supposedly Spock's sister, which is really ridiculous. So she got burdened with that right away, and she's done the best that she could with the part in the writing that they gave her. So really, if it wasn't for her, and Doug Jones, especially, that I think they would have had more problems with the series.
You do touch on that you in your notes, don't you? That the two standout characters in this, and not just characters but actors as well.
Right.
It is Sonique and Doug. They are brilliant, and their chemistry together as well on set.
Yep.
There is a line where she says something like one last trip or something, one last dance, and he says, lead the way, I'll follow. And I was just like, that's brilliant. That's good writing. Yeah. The captain and the unofficial captain.
It's not even the fact of the writing. It's just that Doug Jones, I'm sorry, he is the best person on that whole dang cast.
More than Sonique. I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah.
Doug Jones was always there. He was the best person to play a role in an alien costume, right? I'm not saying he can't act, he can, but he's always been in a costume. He's been cast typed for that kind of thing over time.
Right, but the difference is if you're going to be in a costume, then you have to really be good to make that character totally believable. Because if you can't do it, you're constantly going to be seeing the costume all the time. Mm-hmm. And Doug Jones is a master at that. He's done this on this show. He did a major character about. I'm sorry.
Hellboy.
Yeah, he did a major character, right? And he was a major character in Babylon 5, which is my next favorite after Star Trek. And he just, every time he gets involved and he gets into the suits or whatever it might be, you instantly believe that character is for real.
Plus, he would be really good in drag, wouldn't he? Because he's on these big high heels constantly filming the Saru. He's got a big high heel stilt thing, so...
I don't know how... I can't imagine how he could act that well with all this garbage on him. I mean, it's just... that's why he's so great.
He's lanky. He's tall and lanky, which helps. If he was a stumpy or a bigger character or a bigger guy, I don't think he could pull that off. But he does well. He does really well. Yeah, your point stands. It takes a bit more to express that through all the makeup and do as well while you're absolutely pissing of sweat inside your prosthetics and whatnot. So, yeah, good point, mate. So, yeah, as I said before, we do see a lot of Book. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in his redemption arc, because bear in mind what happened in last season. He was a bit of a criminal, so he's trying to redeem himself now. And I think this will be the equivalent of, I'm sure you have that in the States as well, Greg, community service. When you get a jail sentence, but they go 12 months suspended and 100 hours community service. You have to go out and put a fence up for an old granny or something. You know, it is some kind of sentence, but you're given back to the community. That's what he's doing. That's the equivalent of what I think is going on here. So good to see his redemption arc. Plus, he is the captain's bit on the side, so we need the captain happy. Saru's role in this season, though. We'll move back to him again, because we do see him a bit throughout this. There was rumours that he wasn't going to be in Starfleet anymore. He'd maybe be some kind of ambassador. And while I think that might happen after the season, like a bookend type thing, I reckon for now, although we don't really know what his role is, we do see him in Starfleet uniform. We do see him on away missions. With the captain, and we do see him on Discovery. So, what do you think his role is, Gray? I think it's just a confidant, kind of, for the captain.
I think his role, I think, is more like Dr. McCoy was in the original series to the captain, like very close, and keeps the captain grounded, that kind of thing. And I think that's where he's best at. The thing that I thought was really cool was when Saru was captain of Discovery for a couple episodes or whatever it was. He did a fabulous job. I was like actually a little surprised. I was going like, whoa, wow. In fact, it'll never happen. But if they ever wanted to do a Captain Saru story with him on some other starship, I'll tune in. I think he would be the only actor that I think could actually pull that off, to be an alien captain, because there really hasn't been any alien captains per se. In Starfleet.
That's a good point. We need to see more of them. That is a bloody good. And if you don't want to have your lead actor in a shit ton of makeup, make them a species that only has a little bit, so that they're not in the makeup for too long. Because he's right. We're supposed to be about, and Gray, we need to see other bloody starships as well. Why is it always Earth-based starships we always see? It's a Federation. Starfleet is supposed to be made up of ships of every... But it feels separate. Yeah. Do you not feel that as well? It's... You've got to have a bit of everything.
One of the things that was... I go back to this sometimes, but one of the things that was so cool about Babylon 5 was exactly that. Every race on that show had a different starship. And they were all cool looking.
Yeah.
So you got to see them all the time, and they would be pulling in and out of the station or involved in battles or whatever. And there was a lot of them in there and they were always around. So you're right. Why don't? I think it's because people are used to it. That's just the way they've been with Star Trek a lot.
Yeah.
You only see the alien ship when there's a real issue going on, or something. At least we saw a lot of Klingon.
That's true.
In the history, a little less Romulan, but we saw some of that. Deep Space Nine, at least, made an effort at that, and they did pretty good because you had the Cardassian ships, Jem'Hadar, you had Klingon, you had Starfleet, so they had a lot of starships in Deep Space Nine.
They had to, though. It was a space station. But I'm talking about Starfleet themselves, not other... I'm talking about alien species that are part of the Federation, therefore they're part of Starfleet. But your point still stands as well. More ships and more alien captains and all that stuff would be good. Of course it would. So, Saru's role, I think he's just going to be, like Grace says, the McCoy-type character for our captain and help her out. And I like him, so I'm glad he is one of the main characters still in this show. I think... Where did I put it? I'll skip ahead slightly. Also, a character I know Gray doesn't like, I'm pretty sure. Tilly seems to be back on board. Why do you not like Tilly? What's wrong with Tilly? Everyone loves Tilly apart from you.
I haven't liked Tilly since day one. I mean, because it just... And again, I'm not trying to fault the actress or whatever, but it just seems like they keep writing her a little differently every time. And she goes from one thing to another. But I think the biggest thing is she's totally unbelievable to me. She starts off as a flighty girl or whatever, and kind of like a little crazy and and she immediately turns into a like one of the best officers in Starfleet in a matter of a season or two. I said, no, I don't think so. I mean, come on. She was even captain for a little while or whatever. I mean, there's no way that you're gonna have that character go as far as she did. The character, I mean, as far as they did in any other Star Trek show ever. And yet she just goes breezing right by, and then on top of that, after all that, she apparently went off to Starfleet Academy or whatever on Earth to train other people to be like her or something. I don't know.
True. I think she does have the tendency to probably be better as Starfleet Academy trainer because she's got that personality that's good with people rather than being a really good officer. Not saying she isn't, but I think she would suit that role better. Yeah. But she might be in the Starfleet Academy show. We don't know because it is supposed to take place in the 32nd. I'm sure it's the 32nd century, Gray.
If that show even comes around, I have my doubts.
It's been signed off. It's been signed off.
I still don't know if that's going to actually happen because of everything going on. As you know, like we talked about last time with Paramount. True. And there's yet more rumors now about how Paramount is going to get sold.
Oh, yeah. Warner Brothers won't buy them anymore. Yeah. So
Warner Brothers turned it down, but Sundance is in there. But now or Skydance, I think it is. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah. But they just read an article. I posted it in our Star Trek chat on our Discord. You should go there and see the gaming Discord because we're all in there. And I posted it and it said that Skydance, if they buy all of Paramount, and the main company as well, the parent company and stuff, that they may have to sell $13 billion of stock to investors.
They wouldn't buy all of it. They've said, I think the rumors are they won't buy all of it, mate. They're only interested in the movie element of their studio. Which makes sense.
I guess that makes it even more difficult. So as far as Star Trek is concerned, let alone the other stuff that we want to see. And then I keep hearing the rumors that they're going to pull Star Trek out and it's going to go on and do its own thing. And they're going to buy the rest of it, which I find that really hard to believe. Because if you're going to buy Paramount, regardless of the fact that you want the studio space and all that garbage, what do you want? You want Star Trek. Why would you not want Star Trek if you're going to buy all that?
Well, they might, but they might just sell it off to make a large profit. Who knows? But I mean,
True.
Anyway, we mostly covered that last time. If you haven't watched that episode, then please do. But we'll crack on with this because we've got a bit more to cover in that respect. So yeah, Tilly is back on board. She's got better. She's grown on me more as the series, the seasons have went on. So I do like her a little bit more. And it was a bit weird having her starting up the academy training when she was supposed to be a key member of the cast and the crew. So kind of a little bit strange one. So yeah, she's probably back where she belongs, even if Gray doesn't like it.
Except now, instead of being a high school girl, she's like a college girl now.
Well, kind of slightly grown up. The plot of this, right? The plot of this seems to be a bit batshit crazy. Maybe in a good way, possibly. So I'm getting vibes as I note down here of Uncharted meets Tomb Raider. You know, Raiders of the Lost Ark and that kind of stuff. You know, like that adventure, trying to find the Holy Grail. Not that it is the Holy Grail. They're after an artifact, some kind of treasure. That Culver guy with the glasses. Why we're still wearing glasses in the 32nd century, I don't know. I love that character because he wears a tie and he still has glasses, and he does because he wants to. He chooses to. He doesn't need to. He chooses to, and that is rock and roll. He's basically saying it's one of the biggest treasures of all time. We don't know what it is, Gray. However, I didn't see this until someone else pointed it out. You do see an old Romulan ship. I can't remember the class. It's not a warbird. It's a lot smaller than that. It's round about the Picard era. And what the hell is that doing cutting about for 1,000 years? Or close to 1,000 years. That is interesting. So don't think that is a treasure.
Quite well.
Well, yeah, it's in space. Of course it is.
Well, it's not going to be what I would love to see is go back to the old original Romulan ship with the big bird painted on it.
We've done that before. I'm sure we've done that before.
Would be
at
cool.
Some point in Star Trek. I'm sure we have. No?
Yes, we have.
Picard. They brought one back in Picard.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
The only other thing I can think of is, well, I didn't get a good look at it, so I don't know. But I mean, the other one are the typical Romulan ships that look like the larger warships that look like a bird beak at the front. You know, and stuff. I mean, I can't remember too many other Romulan ships.
It wasn't like that, mate. No. It was after this. Go and check it out. It is a lot. The wings are a lot flatter. It's all green, of course. Still, there's not a beak as such, and it's got flatter wings. But I don't think that is the treasure. I just think that is an element in the whole thing.
Hey, maybe it's a later version, but later version of the one with the wings. Could be.
Possible, yeah. It's from Star Trek lore, like earlier on in Star Trek time. Anyway.
Easter egg.
Go and check it out, people. It's one of these things. I didn't freeze frame this one. I did read this, and I saw the screenshot in another article. So, but yeah, we you know what trailers are like. They are cut in such a way to be interesting, but they're out of order, back to front, sideways, all over the place. It never makes sense. So there's only so much you can make sense of it. But we see some dirt bike racing, which is always cool in Star Trek, although a bit weird. And it gives me vibes of Star Trek Nemesis and the Argo. Remember the Argo, that little buggy that Picard's going nuts in, and Worf is going pew pew from the back and having a great time. We see that. No clue who's attacking them, but they are on bikes and they are absolutely on some kind of desert, and they're just nailing it, trying to get away. And then an very interesting part comes up next, which does make sense, although it's still shocking to see. We see a Romulan Starfleet captain because you could tell by the pips, and we know Romulans are now part of Starfleet and the Federation because they have joined up with Navarre, and Navarre reapplied to be a member of Starfleet again or Federation after leaving. But does that make them status quo members? If someone else joins your society, Gray, does that make you de facto members? That's like, I don't know, NATO. That's like someone joining one of the countries of NATO, and they're automatically then NATO members.
No, but there's a whole. I don't know if they mentioned it in the series. I can't remember, but there's a whole process you got to go through to become a member of Starfleet, same as you would to be a member of, NATO or the United Nations or whatever.
Yeah.
They may have skimmed over some of that, although they did talk about it, like you said, in a couple of episodes. So I guess we're taking it forward, and now they're, because we don't know at the beginning of season 5 whether some time has passed. For all we know, they might open up in episode 1 saying like 5 years later.
It's not long after, but I don't know any more than that.
Yeah.
But we don't have a clear indication of timelines. You're right. But
it certainly seems like there's a lot of action in this series. I mean, that's all they had a ton of action going on.
You mentioned that about the Romulan, didn't you, Gray? About the action.
Yeah.
You mentioned here. Didn't think I'd say this sentence today. A bad ear job. Ear job. That's an ear, people, and a beard.
I'm gonna assume
he looked cool.
No, I didn't say it didn't look cool. I was looking at the ears though, because the Romulans had generally ears shaped very much similar to Vulcans, not exactly. But this one looked like somebody took a bite out of both ears, and I'm just kind of like, I guess it could be a little better, and maybe it's just another. What would it be? Like another species or subspecies or something like that of Romulan? I mean, it could be.
See, I think I missed that part with the ears looking well dodgy. I have to go back and double check that.
But the beard was kind of cool. So.
Yeah, he's an older, weathered guy. And it makes sense.
Maybe the ears got weathered too.
Well, yeah, very much so, man. You better be careful, Gray. Check your ears.
Oh, jeez.
They might start going away, man.
Maybe I'll start getting a point. Like,
you'd love that, wouldn't you?
I don't know if everybody else would, but hey.
Here's a question for you, Gray, or you can give me your opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is at least elements, I'm not saying the plot revolves around it, but elements of the mirror universe in this, because you see the Terran Empire logo on the back of one of the ships. Were those the bad guys? The kind of the Romulan, the kind of old fashioned Romulan with like the smooth skin and his blonde little sidekick cutting about for the whole of the trailer. And he's on one of the ships there. And he comes through with the phaser. He's having to shoot him up with I can't remember who it was. But you see a Terran Empire symbol on the back there, and someone froze another screen before with what looked like the original USS Defiant, not my Defiant, but Constitution class from that was in a Star Trek Enterprise episode called In a Mirror Darkly, which I think that might be in season 4 again or season 3. That was one of the best 2 parts of the whole run of Enterprise. It literally was Mirror Universe Enterprise. It was the ISS Enterprise, and they're all killing each other to try and get power, and they try and capture the ship which has come through from our timeline to theirs, and they've got this superior firepower, and it was just fascinating to see this. I'm not saying there's anything to that, but you see that silhouette of the ship on a LCAR menu, so I mean, it's possible there could be better universe elements in this, Gray. Makes sense.
I think one of the things they might be doing in this series, because I would think it might be logical, we do know there's a Section 31 movie, and we do know that, of course, the head of that, George Joe, whatever, came from the Mirror Universe, and maybe they're going to find a way to kind of, sort of, tell you that that's going to be happening in the series. We also know that Starfleet Academy is supposed to be happening, and maybe that's why Tilly's aboard as well, because that might be a little bit of a push to plug that show when it comes out. So we might be seeing some of that kind of stuff going on. I don't know. I was wondering what the that big I don't know what it was, that thing where they were pushing the buttons on the side of it and it opened up like a flower.
Oh yeah,
that artifact. I was trying to figure that, but then the engineer was holding up that thin little piece of metal. I didn't get a close look at it. He's going like, "This is what we have to protect." What, an earring? No, only kidding.
Well, beside that artifact was a self-sealing stem bolt. Did you notice that?
No. Okay.
How random. They're still about in the 32nd century. Cool.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, what does this little piece of sheet metal this guy had in his hand have to do with the bigger piece? Maybe it's a key.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, possible. I mean,
I just the only thing I hope for in this series is that, do you know how many episodes it's supposed to be? Is it
10.
the same or less?
10.
Oh, okay, so it's a little less then.
No,
wow,
no. Last couple of seasons have been 10. Last season at least, anyway. Yeah.
From the look of the trailer, and again, it may mean absolutely nothing. I'm wondering if the 10 episodes are gonna feel a bit rushed because there was a lot of stuff going on. And I hope it's paced properly, because otherwise you'll be getting like what.
Well, this is the advantage of streaming, at least. While it's annoying that it's only 10, that we're not limited to 42 minutes. You can have it an hour if it makes sense to the story. Problem is with Disney, they would just take the piss out of that and give you like half-an-hour episodes, which ridiculous considering the amount of money they've spent on TV. But let's not go down that one. If you do, you go to GGR, and that'll get a plug properly at the end. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, there could be mirror universe elements in this for sure. I'm hoping it's not fully mirror universe, because, well, it'd be cool if you remember the Guardian forever saying the space between your universe and a mirror universe were spreading even further and further apart, and if he didn't send Philippa Georgiou back then, he would never be able to send her back. They've been spreading apart ever since, so that's why there was less and less interactions between the two, which seemed like a cool storytelling element for me. So don't know if it'll happen, but it would be cool if it did. Now, Gray, did you notice Starbase 1 in this?
No. I didn't look closely.
He's not paying attention. So you got to watch it 3-4 times is the problem.
Yeah, that's where the old ship comes out of, or
well, no, I don't think so. But I mean, it's a trailer. I could be wrong. It is Starbase 1, and it looks like the OG Starbase 1, which doesn't make sense because how the hell has that lasted all this length of time? And can I just say, it's actually nice to see Starbase 1, even if it shouldn't be there, because we don't see it hardly ever in Star Trek. You always end up seeing a bunch of other bloody star bases, but never Starbase 1. So
my guess is it may be a type of museum thing like we saw in Picard season 3. So it would be a cool eye candy shot if you see it and it's a museum and then you see the old ships again.
Would be very
and maybe
cool.
A few other old ships that we've never seen.
I hope so.
1,000 years.
I hope so, man.
Maybe you'll see the Enterprise. Well, I don't know what letter it would have to be in the 30th century. The Enterprise Z or something.
Yeah, or the AA or something, because we went back to the start.
Yeah. That would be cool. If it was me, I would slip that in as an Easter egg. You're just kind of like going by. Oh, here's the old ships. And you see
at the very end. At the very end, yeah, of course, that would be very cool at the very, very end, yeah. And the last thing, this wasn't in the trailer, but it's something I picked up after. It's very relevant, I think. Now, often the Star Trek short treks are pretty mince, right? They're pretty crap.
Yeah.
However, you get the odd one that's pretty good, and what the best one of Discovery so far was the one called Calypso. Have you seen that, Gray?
Yeah, I mean, I have to try to remember, but yeah.
That was phenomenal. That was, just to jog people's memory, we start on a Discovery that has been abandoned for 1,000 years, and the ship's AI, which, bear in mind, is that it's a combination of the original computer program and that intelligence that was taken from that probe before it literally pretty much died. So it's like a super sentient AI thing. I can't remember her voice. She get given a name, the computer. I can't remember. But she starts...
Gladys. No, only kidding.
God. She starts voicing the character in Calypso. And it was this person that woke up on board, had no clue what was going on. It wasn't one of the crew. And it was a really, really good little short story. This, we've been told, again, take it with a pinch of salt, will be addressed in season 5. Now, the thing to add to that, to caveat to that, is Calypso was original Discovery, which makes it far more interesting. Would have made more sense in paper if it had been the Discovery A, which still don't get me started Discovery A, because I'm sorry, that should have never been. Is it the A though, or is it just the refit? Is it classed as the A? It is the A, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't think it was enough of a refit to actually get one, in my opinion. But yeah, it's Discovery A we see now, but it's original Disco back in the day, so, and in Calypso. So be interesting to see how they pay that off. I'm not really sure how they'll go with that, but if they've got to leave this one, they've got to tie it up really well, and just try and they repaired some of the damage done at the start. But if they finish this series well, Gray, then it repairs a little bit more of that damage and makes us a little bit more forgiving, I guess. You know, so let's hope.
Hey, look, if it turns out to be a good season, at least it will go on more of a high. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
stuff. They should throw the Guardian in too again. What the heck?
Oh, I do love that cat. I really do.
That was probably one of my favorite episodes. Was that one or two part or whatever where the Guardian was involved? I thought that was brilliant the way they did that. I really enjoyed it. It was just like the guy with the newspaper.
And they used the original.
Handled it properly.
They used the original voice of back in the day. But the guy, it made sense when he was standing in the newspaper, because before it was just a voice. So this person, this entity, can make him or her itself into anything. So he's like, yeah, I'll just make myself an old guy with a hat and a cigar and a newspaper. Why not?
In a door.
And a door. I mean, literally should be a door. It should be a portal. A door leads to wherever. So it's far more interesting. And the way it broke it splintered into little bits of wood, as he says, I am the Guardian of Forever. And I just, that was fun. That was one of the best bits, Gray. You're right. I do love that. Don't think we'll see it, but you never know. So, was that Gray and Trev in the trailer? Gray, what nonsense are you talking about in your notes, man? I apologise.
I was just goofing around. It would have been fun to be in the trailer, but hey. You know, they didn't ask us.
I was like, I thought for a moment when I put the Uncharted comment, you were talking about the young and the old guy. I thought that was something to do with that.
Okay. That was it.
You were like Sully or something, the older guy, Sully, the mentor guy, you know?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, exactly.
So, you think also as well that Sadiq Martin Green's talents are wasted in this program? I might have to agree with you a little bit, man.
I'm not going to say we're totally wasted, but she's much more talented than what the writing was given to her. I mean, and the reason why I think I feel that Doug Jones was the best out of the whole cast is because he took what was written for him and somehow elevated it. Because he just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, and when you can do something like that, even to writing that may not be the greatest sometimes, and still your character is just somebody you just gravitate to because you just like them. I mean, that's a true talent. But Sonequa Martin Green is very talented, and I hope that when this is over, this season is done, that she gets some other quality work that would better fit her talent. You know?
Did you see her in The Walking Dead?
No, I heard she was good in that, but I'm not.
She was brilliant in Walking Dead. Yeah, the way she went out as well was brilliant. Just wow, very, very, very good.
Look, between The Walking Dead and being in Star Trek, I'm sure
it's good for the resume, isn't it?
Exactly, and if she's put a few bucks away, she should be fine. So you know, but it would be kind of cool to see her in a movie, maybe. You know, that would fit her talents. A movie would be kind of cool.
Hard to make that jump though, mate. But I agree with you. Her talent should be there for sure.
Or maybe another sci-fi show. You know, what about like a sci-fi show that Apple does? Apple puts so much quality into their sci-fi shows.
She'll get work easily, mate. Easy. Her talent. She's been the lead in this show. She wasn't the lead in The Walking Dead, but she was one of the main cast members. So, but yeah, and so just kind of summing up about what we think of Discovery, where it's went right, where it's went wrong. You've basically said here, Gray, and you know I agree with you somewhat. Season 1, 2, and 3 were you say decent. 4 was so and so. I didn't think 1 was great. if you take it away from Star Trek and base it on its own, it's good. But because they ruined canon so much, it was just wrong and weird.
Yeah.
Season 2 got better. It gets better as the seasons go on, in my opinion. Season 2 was a bit... Okay, they're repairing the damage. Let's give them the season to do that. The Enterprise comes in. That was great, so it was an improvement. Season 3, they then get to the 32nd century and where it should have always been. And thing is, right, see the thing with the burn, right?
Mm-hmm.
On paper, I loved the concept. What I didn't like was what caused it. But the concept of something so mental or crazy in nature that would literally resonate across the galaxy and destroy anything that had the lithium in it made sense. I thought it was a great storytelling element. However, a young adolescent, whatever Saru's race is, again, having a bloody hissy fit and a temper tantrum and causing that just infuriated me. That makes no... I mean, you don't even get this batshit crazy stuff in Farscape, and that's one of the most crazy sci-fi shows I've ever seen. So...
Yeah, that was really far-fetched.
You know, so... And then we get to season 3 is rebuilding the Federation. I loved that concept. I loved that the Federation, who's to say it was always going to be in the top for this length of time? Nothing stays at the top. Look at the great Roman Empire. It fell. Hopefully it doesn't come back. But the Federation does. And they rebuild it. Season 4, they're back. They're not back to full strength, but they're getting there. But it's the big great mystery, what's outside the Great Barrier. And I always loved the concept of the Great Barrier. And you couldn't get out of it. And there's no more bloody spore drive there because it only works in our galaxy. So you're kind of screwed when you're out there. And then season 5, how do you improve on that again? It's... I've got fears. I've got fears. It could be great, but it could be awful as well. Or not awful. It could be great, or it could just be meh. So I don't think it'll be awful.
I think if we're following what has happened before, we're gonna get some good episodes and some so-so, and maybe even a couple of lousy ones. I think that's what's gonna happen, and it'll average out around the same, or at least for me, to be like maybe a 7 from the whole series, the whole season.
Then we'll get musical.
We'll see. Oh God, no, please. That was one thing that I understand that cast had fun. I would too. I guess if I was gonna have something quite different, it would have been fun. But being fun for the cast and making sense for us to see, that's just
more K-pop, Klingon singing.
It was just like, I mean, it should have been a comedy. If it was a comedy, that would have been great, I guess. But...
If they'd had that in Lower Decks, hilarious. It would have worked.
Yeah.
Not in a serious show. Anyway, so you don't hate the show, but you don't love it either. It's somewhere more neutral for you, Gray.
I love Strange New Worlds, and we have Discovery to thank for propelling that series forward.
Yeah.
Because we got what we wanted, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that the Enterprise was there, and everybody got excited, and Anson Mount was there, and he was a great a Pike, and da-da-da. So really, regardless of what you may think one way or the other, it did propel Strange New Worlds, which I like a lot. So, hey.
True, yeah. Credit where credit's due, and thank you very much for that. We do appreciate it. You
made a good point. I don't know if you brought it up on our show right now, your show right now. But if they had started at the 30th century and went that way, like you have told me before, I think it would have been great. It would have been much better.
Yeah.
But they putzed around season 1 and 2, and then finally just came upon this idea of the 30th century. Because I like season 3. I thought season 4 was a bit of a fall off from 3, but I really liked 3 because it was trying to establish all this stuff and I thought, oh, this is kind of cool.
If you take away the temper tantrum though, and
because
that was ridiculous.
The thing that was so dumb about that is they were building up to something, and we were all wondering, ooh, what could have happened? What monumental thing could it have been that caused the burn? There's got to be, and we were all kind of thinking about what it could be, and then we find out it's this person. It was just like, what? What? How? What?
It didn't make much sense, did it? Really?
No, not at all.
It was a little bit batshit crazy, to be fair with you. It is the 32nd century. Yeah, I just double checked because we're both getting it wrong there. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't start there, so well. So we'll probably start wrapping it up there, guys. They have had this on the back burner for a year, this show, because of the problems Paramount are going through at the moment. I just hope this slowdown of the Star Trek shows isn't of what's about to come or what could come, because I don't think Star Trek would ever truly die. It's too big and valuable and profitable. Someone will buy it. It's just how long it could be off the air, and whoever ends up possibly owning it, making a complete arse of it. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, we do touch upon the Paramount stuff and the sell off and how much debt they're in on Grey Show, which we recorded the other day. It's Grey's Green Room, and you can find him on the Twitters for that. Search at Grey's Green Room on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts as well. Of course, I'm not on the Twitter anymore. I didn't like it. Whatever. So
I'm not much on the Twitter either. Believe
I've been encouraged to start a TikTok, which I might do for little cool Star Trek clips. That could be cool, and do shorts. So watch this space. But we are on audio platforms as well. Just searching for the Trekway podcast as well, if you would rather listen to it in the background and not see these beautiful faces. And last but not least, if you like gaming, please join us on the Discord. Just search, and it'll be in the description below, for Extreme Gaming Podcast. The reason I say that is because, well, we're there with our friend and colleague Nick and a couple of others to talk all things gaming. But on that Discord server, there is not only all the stuff to do with gaming, but there is a channel for Grey's Green Room, an entertainment channel where we talk all things entertainment, Marvel, Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, shenanigans, you name it, it's there. And there's also a Star Trek channel, the Trekway, underneath. We'll talk about all. So it's all the Discord's the main thing, because everything is located within there. So please come in and say hi and say that you came from YouTube. That would be cool. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you don't like it. But more importantly, just put comments below, because for whatever reason, our episode, our review with Michelle Forbes that Grey done back in the 90s has absolutely went batshit crazy and has got something like nearly 7,000 views at the moment. I don't know what's going on. You realize...
I want to say one thing about that. During the recording of the show we're doing right now, right? There's been 2 more comments.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
While we're on the air here doing this,
it's nice.
It pops up. Are you kidding?
Keep them coming, people. Listen, I think we're more likely to find the origins of the Big Bang before we find out how the YouTube algorithm works. And I'm only being half sarcastic with that comment. No one understands how it works. Yeah. I don't care what they say. It's crazy why that one blew up. But it is a good interview. So if you haven't seen it, then please check that out. There's a bunch of other interviews that Grey done with some original and TNG cast members back in the day. So please go. We've got a whole category for that. Check it out. But until the next time, thanks for tuning in. If you've got ideas for specials, let us know. We'll cover them. And do your thing, Mr. Grey.
Live long and prosper, everybody.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.